Hey, third graders, it's Mrs. Osika again. Hopefully, you've read the story The Spelling Bee once or twice. And today we're going to talk about who the main character is, how are Josh and Jasmine alike, and what is the opposite of the word win. So, if I win something, that means I am the winner and I am number one. So, what does the opposite mean? The opposite would be to lose, right? To lose something. I lost the contest. So in the story, The Spelling Bee today, we have the main character, and we're also going to focus on the lesson or theme of the story when we're finished today. So we're going to read it one more time together, and then you're going to talk about the theme and complete the quiz when you're finished today. And we're also going to be writing a constructed response. I know you're so excited right now about writing a constructed response, but I'm going to help you get started. The Spelling Bee. And remember those words we needed to know: apology, when you say you're sorry to someone; compete, to compete against someone, to go against someone; fail means that you did not succeed; glaring is when you're staring at someone; and smirked, you have a facial expression that's not pleasant; and a spelling bee is to go against a contestant in spelling words. Jasmine smiled. She was sure she was going to win the class spelling bee. Now look at this. When those words are bold, remember, we can also look back in our glossary. So spelling bee is a competition in which people spell words. Good luck, Finn, the other speller said. She smirked at him. Now notice her face. She's not smiling. Smirked is a smile in a mean way, so she's not being kind right now. Mr. Russo said, Finn, your next word is apology. Apology. A-P-O-L-A-G-Y. Apology, he said slowly. Mr. Russo said, I'm afraid that's wrong. He asked Jasmine to spell the same word. She smiled and spelled it correctly. Then she spelled another word correctly. Mr. Russo cheered. Class, let's give our new spelling champ a round of applause. Jasmine, are you ready to represent our class tomorrow in the school-wide bee? Mr. Russo asked. Yes, she replied. During lunch, everyone was talking about the spelling bee. Jasmine walked by the table where Finn sat. I can't believe you're going on stage in front of the entire school, Lily said. How hard is it to spell a few words? Jasmine asked. Not that easy. You beat all of us, Finn said. Well, you all only had to spell baby words, she replied. So stop right there. She is not being kind to all those other kids at her table, and look at their faces. I can inference by their faces that she's not making them feel very confident or very good. The next day, Jasmine looked at the spelling bee winners from the other classes. She hadn't thought about how she'd have to compete against older students. Jasmine saw Josh, a fourth grader she knew from her block. I think I might win this year, Josh told her. Me too, Jasmine said. Josh laughed and said, second graders never win. Well, I'm pretty good, Jasmine bragged. I won my class B on the word apology. Josh asked, that's kind of a baby word, isn't it? Jasmine blushed. Principal Lopez started to explain the rules for the spelling bee, but Jasmine wasn't listening. What kinds of words would she have to spell? I probably should have studied the word list Mr. Russo gave the class, she thought. Jasmine sat on stage with the other spelling champs. Her hands were sweating. As Principal Lopez introduced each of the spellers, their classes cheered. When she said Jasmine's name, most students in Mr. Russo's class clapped. Jasmine saw Flynn glaring at her. The first student spelled their words correctly. Jasmine knew some of them, but not all of them. Finally, it was her turn. Your word is caterpillar, said Principal Lopez. Jasmine's heart sank. She had never spelled this word before. She tried to sound it out. Caterpillar. C-A-T Jasmine paused. E-R-P, she continued, but she wasn't sure what came next. I-L-E-R, she finished. I'm sorry, but that's wrong, Principal Lopez said. Jasmine returned to her chair. That was it. She was out on her first word. Yesterday, she was sure she could win. Jasmine looked out and spotted Finn. Now I know how he felt, she thought. Later, Jasmine opened the classroom door quietly, hoping to slip in. Way to go, Jasmine, Lily said. Yeah, bad luck on that word, Finn added. You're not mad at me? Jasmine asked. I said such mean things yesterday. I'm really sorry. It's all right, Finn replied. Besides, it was really brave to go against those fifth graders, he said. Thanks, Finn. Now I understand how you felt yesterday. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to be mean about it, Jasmine said. You never know how others feel until you're in their shoes, she added. Finn looked at his shoes and laughed. And there are the other words in the glossary. So boys and girls, today I would like you to finish your quiz on the story, The Spelling Bee, that I gave you. And in fact, I think you're probably going to be pretty happy because I think I may have only printed the front page. So you may only have 4 or 6 questions. I may have left off the last part of it. But I do want you to write a short constructed response, and I will type out the question on your Canvas, but I want you to talk about, would Jasmine have apologized to Finn if she had won the school-wide spelling bee? And why or why not? Why do you think that, or why don't you? So I want you to go back and be thinking about, so Finn and Jasmine were the main characters, and Jasmine is the one who was in the contest, and she got to go with the fifth graders. So she is the main character, but Josh was the one, let's see here, if I go back. I'm sorry, let me go back. I'm sorry, Finn was the one. I'm sorry, Finn is the one that had the apology, that had the word apology and was out. So she was the one that was not very, Jasmine was not very nice to the other students who did not win. And then finally at the end of the story, she says, thanks, Finn. Now I understand how you felt yesterday. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to be mean. So I want you to be thinking also about how other people feel. So lesson and theme. The theme of the story would be understanding how other people feel and walking in other people's shoes. So obviously we're not really going to walk in other people's shoes, but we can say, if you care about how others are feeling, intentionally caring about how others are feeling, that would be like walking in other people's shoes. So your constructed response, again, I want you to talk about, would Jasmine have apologized to Finn if she had won the school-wide spelling bee? Why do you think that or not? And again, here's Finn at the end of the story. All right, can't wait to read those. You can either write them on paper, the constructed responses, or if you want to sign in to the Google Docs, you can go ahead and send it to sosikaclass@ga.hobart.k12.in.us. It's automatically in your Chromebooks, and you can send it that way as well. All right, talk to you soon, boys and girls.